Today, we're diving into one of history's most powerful stories. It's a clash of titans, really. A king who literally thought he was a god, and the one man who dared to stand up and tell him he wasn't. This is a story about unwavering faith against absolute crushing power, and it all leads to an incredible trial by fire.
So let's set the scene. We're in Babylon, and it is a dark, oppressive place. And I don't just mean politically. There's a spiritual sickness here. The people are lost, bowing down to idols of the sun, the moon, the stars, statues that they carved with their own two hands.
And at the very center of this empire sits King Nimrod. You know, the story goes he actually started out as a pretty just ruler. But that kind of absolute power, well, it corrupts. It twisted him until he made this insane declaration: I am your God. You will worship me. So you see, the people of Babylon were trapped in this two-front war on truth. On one hand, you had the government, forcing everyone to worship Nimrod with his statues everywhere. And on the other, you had the age-old tradition of praying to these lifeless stone idols. Falsehood was literally the air they were breathing. Then, everything changes. Nimrod has this absolutely terrifying dream. He sees a brilliant new light appear on the sky, a light so powerful it just extinguishes the sun, the moon, and the stars. And then a man appears and yanks him right off his throne. His astrologers, terrified, tell him exactly what it means. A new religion is coming, and its prophet will be the end of his entire kingdom. Nimrod's reaction is just pure, unrestrained brutality. He issues a horrifying decree. Every single male baby born in Babylon is to be killed. Executioners go from house to house. The source material claims 100,000 infants were slaughtered. The city became a graveyard. But you can't stop destiny with a sword. In the middle of all this bloodshed, a child named Ibrahim is born. He's hidden away in a cave, growing up completely separate from the corrupted society outside. His mind is pure, a blank slate, ready to find the truth all on its own. And this is where we see his incredible mind at work. It's just pure logic. He sees a star and thinks, wow, is this my Lord? But then it sets, it disappears. He says, I don't love things that fade away. He sees the moon, brighter, bigger, but it's gone by morning. Even the sun, the most powerful thing he can see, eventually sets. So he comes to this profound conclusion. The true creator has to be permanent, unchanging, the one behind all these fading lights. So now that he has this absolute certainty, what does he do? He takes action. During a huge citywide festival, when the main temple is completely empty, he walks in with an axe, and he just systematically smashes every single idol to pieces, all except for the biggest one. When the people come back and see the destruction, they are furious. They drag him out and demand to know what happened. And this is where Ibrahim pulls off a genius move. He just points to the last idol standing with the axe propped up next to it and says, well, maybe the big guy did it. Why don't you ask him, if he can even speak? For just a second, you can see it on their faces. They're forced to admit their gods are just powerless stones. But that flash of truth is immediately swallowed by rage. Of course, news of this travels fast, and Ibrahim is dragged before King Nimrod himself. Can you imagine the scene? In a court where every single person is bowing to the ground, Ibrahim just stands there, tall. The silence must have been deafening. The ultimate showdown was about to begin. Nimrod sneers at him and asks, so who is this Lord of yours? And Ibrahim gives the first perfect answer. My Lord is the one who gives life and causes death. It's so simple, but it claims everything.
Nimrod just laughs. What a joke. In this unbelievably arrogant display, he has two prisoners brought out. He has one killed and sets the other one free. He turns to Abraham and says, see, I give life and cause death too. He's confusing the crude, barbaric act of killing with the divine power over existence itself.
But Ibrahim is way too smart to get caught in that trap. He doesn't argue. He just pivots and delivers the final unanswerable checkmate. He says, all right, my God brings the sun from the east. Your God? Fine, bring it from the west. And that's it. Nimrod is just stunned, struck silent. There's no comeback. He's been completely exposed. So what happens when a tyrant is humiliated, when he's beaten with logic in front of everyone? He resorts to brute force. Nimrod's rage is off the charts. He can't win with words, so he decides he's going to make an example of Ibrahim, a punishment so huge, so terrifying that no one will ever forget it. For an entire month, the whole city of Babylon is ordered to do one thing: gather firewood. It's like a collective madness takes over. Everyone, from the richest noble to the poorest beggar, contributes to building this literal mountain of wood. They light the fire, and it's so massive, so incredibly hot, that nobody can even get close to it. Which presents a problem. How do you get Ibrahim in? So out of this pure hatred comes an incredible invention, the very first catapult in human history. And it was designed for one single purpose: to launch one man into the heart of that inferno.
As they're tying Ibrahim to this machine, the angels themselves come to him. The angel of the wind says, "I can scatter the fire." The angel of water says, "I can put it out." And he refuses them all. He looks up and says with total certainty, "My Lord knows my state, and that is enough for me." That is the absolute peak of trust.
The catapult is released. Ibrahim is flying through the air, heading straight for this wall of flames. And in that exact moment, a command comes from God, a command not to Ibrahim, but to the fire itself. "O fire, be coolness and safety for Ibrahim." The very laws of physics are rewritten. The fire's nature is transformed from a weapon of destruction into a place of peace. Ibrahim walks out of that fire completely unharmed. He's a living miracle. He defeated the tyrant, he defeated the idols, he defeated the inferno. You'd think, okay, story's over, right? But the truth is, his greatest tests were still to come, and these weren't public battles of force, they were quiet trials of the heart.
Years pass. Ibrahim is now commanded to take his wife, Hajar, and their baby son, Ismail, deep into the desert. He's told to leave them there, in a completely barren valley with no water, no food, no life. A command that, from a human perspective, makes absolutely no sense. It seems cruel. As Ibrahim turns to walk away, leaving them there, Hajar runs after him and asks the only question that matters. "Did Allah command you to do this?" He just says, "Yes," and her reply is one of the most powerful statements of faith you'll ever hear. She says, "Then He will not abandon us." That trust in that desolate place is the very foundation of the holy city of Mecca.
But there was one last test, the hardest of all. A command comes to Ibrahim in a dream: "Sacrifice your beloved son." The sources say that Shaitan, the tempter, saw his chance. He went to Hajar to plant doubt, but she said, "If Allah commanded it, it is good." He went to the boy, Ismail, who literally threw stones at him, saying, "There is nothing to fear." He went to Ibrahim himself, who also drove him away. The entire family, as one, submitted to God's will. So, from a battle of wits with a king, to a trial by fire, to the unimaginable command to sacrifice his own child, this story pushes faith to its absolute limit. And it leaves us with a really deep question. When our own faith is tested, not by fire and kings, but by the quiet, everyday trials of our own lives, what does the ultimate proof of our belief really look like?